Chapter 4, Belle the Ball. The next day back in Rose's quarters at the palace. You're getting ready to attend Clarke's welcome ball. You peer into the mirror as Aveline finishes styling your hair. What's the verdict? Am I regal yet? You certainly look princessy to me. What do you think, Your Highness? Aveline holds up your phone so that Rose can see you clearly over the open video call. You look wonderful, which is to say I look wonderful, so I appreciate the effort. I can't say the same for myself. Unfortunately, I wish eyeliner were easier to apply on one's own. She frowns in your bedroom mirror, barely avoiding poking herself in the eye with an eyeliner pencil. It's not bad for your first attempt, Princess Rose. Agreed. Considering you've never been done your own makeup, you're doing great. Well, if you're gonna be a good me at this ball, I have to be an equally good you. Thank you for going in my place, by the way. It means one less royal function that I have to attend with Clarke. Well, Clarke is kind of cute beneath that jaded exterior. Not that the exterior is bad either. I now understand why the Ishmaeli public is crazy about him. But anyway, Clarke's the least of my worries. Tonight, I'm going to a royal ball, which will either be a dream come true or a nightmare, depending on how I screw it up. I have to play the perfect Princess Rose in front of the whole court and make sure they accept Clarke's visit. Relax, Daisy. Hosting an Ishmaeli prince might not be a standard issue for a Montarian ball, but I'm sure the basics will come naturally to you. You just need to be polite, hostess. Remember that the salad fork is always placed on the outside, and remember to smile, look regal, and nod. Of course, but I was going to say remember the Montarian royal motto, peace, progress, and prosperity. Yes, the 3 Ps we still remember from, like, chapter 2. My father recites it at least, at every ball. Easy enough. But I'm not the only one going through the hostess gauntlet tonight. How are you feeling about the Delta's house party? Delighted, honored, and excited. And, okay, also nervous. I have a feeling it'll be very different from my fundraising gala or evening soiree. Well, hey, if you survived a run-in with Stephanie Dupont at the city's hottest club, I think you can handle a one house party. Just remember to have a good time. I know we need to keep up our covers, but if we aren't having fun while we're doing it, well, then what's the point? What an astute piece of advice. You're sounding more like me every day. Your conversation is interrupted by a sudden knock at the door. I gotta answer that. Good luck out there, Rose. Go break a leg. I'll do my very best. I hate that phrase. As soon as she hangs up the video call, you hurry over to open the bedroom door. Your Majesty, Father. Hello, dear. I apologize for interrupting your preparations with Aveline. How did he not eavesdrop and hear us? That's alright. Is there something I can do for you? I just wanted to tell you how proud I am that you put so much effort into tonight's ball. I know you've attended so many that this one may seem, unremarkable. Not exactly. But this is our chance to show that the court, that the Monterey can welcome its Ishmaeli guests with open arms, and that's all thanks to you. I just hope the court likes everything I planned. If they have any taste, they will. But if you're worried, I did have something special made to congratulate you on the big night. He snaps his fingers, and servants come in with a garment bag, laying out a sparkling green and gold gown. Would you wear this tonight? You'd make this old man terribly proud, and I'm sure Prince Clarke will be wearing his best. As much as I want Ishmael and Monterey to get along, I'd hate for my daughter to be upstaged. He does have a point. Whatever I wear tonight, Clarke is gonna be seeing me in it. It's a pretty dress. It's everything I always hoped a ball gown would be. You say that like you don't have 24 other ball gowns in your closet, my dear. He stops spinning, full of excitement, and you can't help giving King Edmund a hug. Oh! It's just such a thoughtful gift, and it's perfect for tonight. Thank you. You're very welcome. Gives you a fatherly pat on the back. A kind of hug you've never had before. But soon he pulls away, smiling. Now, if you're ready to face the music, I'd be honored to escort you to the ballroom. I'd be honored to accept, Father. King Edmund leads you through the hallway that is slowly becoming more popular to you until you reach a pair of double doors. You've got this, Daisy. Just smile, look regal, and... The door swings open to reveal a magnificent ballroom filled with guests in elaborate suits, gowns. That probably cost more than the house you grew up in. Wow, it's like something out of a fairy tale. Now presenting His Majesty King Edmund and Princess Rose Julibart of Monterey. The guests cheer at the sight of the king and the girl that they think is a princess, and you hear dozens of admiring whispers as the court notices your gown. You recognize some of the nobles from Rose and Aveline's courtly training. The princess certainly knows how to make an entrance. And that gown, the royal tailors have outdone themselves. Yes, I managed to look the part. I hear Princess Rose playing this ball down to every last detail. The servants are saying she roped Prince Clarke and helping too. Our princess working with Ishmar's hair, how delicious. That poor girl is usually such a recluse. Don't you agree, Lord Gregor? I'm glad at least some of them have noticed all my hard work. The crowd suddenly parts to make way for the Prince Clarke as he heads towards the grand entrance where you and the king stand. His outfit glitters beneath the ballroom's chandeliers as he dips into a formal bow. Good evening, King Edmund. It's lovely to see you tonight, Princess Rose. Clarke's gaze sweeps down the length of your gown, and he can't entirely hide the admiration in his eyes. You look quite presentable. Such high praise, Prince Clarke. Don't let it go to your head, the gown is doing most of the work. As he gives you that wry grin you take in a stunning outfit. Let's take a look. Yeah, not bad. Almost looks like he's from, like, I don't know, 1650, sailing the seas. You almost look like you care about this ball. You look very fetching. You catch the slightest flash of a surprise on his face before he bows again. Why, thank you. I would be absolutely devastated without your highness's approval. You ought to be. If I could have your esteemed guest's attention. The king steps out in front of the crowd, mentioning for you and Clarke to join him. A hush falls over the room as everyone turns to their king. Thank you all for attending this historic welcome ball for two very special guests, Prince Clarke and Lord Aaron of Ishmar. Clarke bows courteously, and then in the crowd you see Aaron doing the same as his neighbors applaud. This may be the first time one of our kingdoms has hosted the other's hair in 500 years, but I sincerely hope it won't be the last. So, as we embark on a new social season with the Ishmari guests, I'd encourage us all to remember the Julivart family motto. You wait for the king to continue, but instead he turns expectingly towards you. Oh, of course. You recite the words with every ounce of regal gravitas you can manage. The guests applaud, most of them, anyway. Such lovely words, they always bring tears to my eyes. Well said, Princess Rose. Yes, she handled the motto we say every ball with a modicum of grace. You give Cecil your frostiest smile as the king continues. I'm about to handle this whole night with grace, just you watch. Tonight, I especially want everyone to consider that the first word. Peace. Which is why I'd like Prince Clarke and my daughter to lead the first dance of this evening. Me in front of everyone right now? Your Majesty, is that really... You glance at the king in shock, but Clarke is already holding his hand out to you. His expression in the picture is, well, of courtly decorum. May I have this dance, Princess Rose? You take a deep breath, knowing that there's only one thing the real Rose would do, and you give Clarke a regal nod. Yes, you may. Oh, this is gonna be fun. You don't know how to dance. Clarke leads you onto the dance floor as the waltz begins to play. He rests one hand on your waist and holds your hand with the other. His touch light, surprisingly gentle. Your pulse leaps and your breath catches. You steady yourself as he slowly begins the steps of what you assume is a typical waltz, knowing that the court is watching your every move. Everyone is looking at us. Don't tell me you're nervous. I am nervous. What if I step on your foot, and it becomes a diplomatic incident, a secret sign of Monturian's hostility towards Ismar? Ah, well, I'd certainly prefer it if you didn't step on my foot, but if they're worrying you, don't look at them. Just look at me. As Clarke twirls you across the dance floor, the swirling of your gown helps you match his momentum, giving you time to follow each step. Okay, maybe I can do this, after all. You're not a bad dancer, Your Highness. Does that surprise you? The next step on the dance brings your bodies close enough together for a moment, your lips only a few inches apart. Well, one never knows what Ishmari versus Monturian dancing lessons are like. They're at least as adequate as yours. Some might even say superior. Oh, really? As if in a challenge, he spins you away from him. Your body is briefly suspended at arm's length, before pulling you in for the climax of the waltz. And lean in close. As the song swells to a crescendo, you let Clarke spin you in his arms and lower you into a dramatic dip. One strong hand braces the small of your back as he leans over you, your faces inches apart once again. Really? You hang there for a moment with his arm around your waist as Clarke grins down at you, unable to hide the flash of admiration in his eyes before he gracefully pulls you upright. Touché, princess. The crowd bursts into applause, but it takes you a moment to hear them as Clarke's soft words ring in your ears. Bravo! Ahan and Ishmari's dancing so beautifully together. I never thought I'd see the day. As the musicians strike up another song, guests begin pairing off, and you and Clarke are swept apart by various nobles flocking to the dance floor. Princess Rose, may I share this next dance? Of course. Would you dance with me, Lord Gregor? I'm going to take that silence as a no. Well, what about you, Lord Cecil? Care to dance? No, thank you. Your loss. It really is. Aaron's quite the dancer. You miraculously avoid stepping on anyone's toes for another song, and as all the dancers bow to their partner as a bell chimes across the ballroom, summoning everyone for dinner. Let us break bread and refresh ourselves, for the dance is still to come. As the guests begin searching for their assigned seats, Lord Cecil hangs back, addressing the king. Your Majesty, there must be a mistake. I've been placed next to Lord Aaron. So it's true, the great Lord Cecil will be seating next to me. Aaron bounds over, holding a place card with Cecil's name on it. Excuse me? You were Lieutenant Colonel in the early 20s, right? You must tell me about your battalion. I'm a bit of a history buff. I see. Well, for an appreciator of history, perhaps I could manage a few details. Aaron escorts the baffled Cecil back to their seats, shooting a wink at you and Clarke as he goes. Remind me to thank Aaron later. You take your own seat at the royal table, just as Clarke sits down beside you, his leg bumping into yours beneath the table. Sorry, close quarters. But too close for comfort. May I remind you that this is your idea to seat us together? Oh, I remember. I never said that you were too close. He raises an eyebrow, putting on a playful grin, but when his arm briefly brushes yours, he doesn't immediately pull away. Then I shall stay where Her Highness commands. You're certainly better company than Lord Cecil. Such flattery, Prince Clarke. I might faint from all the praise. Clarke flashes that wry half-smile at you, and you look around the room at the guests as they laugh and chat animatedly. When you find yourself facing an Ishmari great bear alone in the mountain, there's really only one thing you can do. Run for your life. Hope that it's friendly. And that your best friend will ride up in the nick of the time to rescue you, which I did. Every Monturian in the room, except Cecil, is laughing with their guests before dinner has even been served. From across the table, the king lifts his glass to you in a salute. From across the table. I thought we were placed next to the king. Yeah, I know, it's this wicked thing called a memory I have. It wasn't easy setting up that seating chart, but this looks like a win to me. Servants emerge from the kitchens with the first course, which turns out to be the most elaborate salad you've ever seen. Rose eats like this every day? Yeah, well, that's rich people for you. As the other guests dig in, you reach for your own fork, only to realize that there are three forks sitting beside your plate, outside fork. Whoever decided that royal meals need a different utensil for every course is my personal enemy. And it's not just royal, it's actually rich people too. But if I was that obsessed with the utensils, where would I put the salad fork? I'll use the outside fork. You take the fork furthest from your plate and carefully stab a piece of grain. Several nobles glance over at you and lift it to your mouth, but they all quickly return to their conversations, leaving you to eat in peace. Yeah, I'm sure everyone's staring at you. Who needs a lifetime of royal etiquette lessons when you've got good instincts? Or a memory? The moment you set your fork down, servants whisk everyone's salad plates away and begin serving the main course. Ishmari mountain stew, I hope they like it. You delicately try a spoonful, and the warm melody of flavors dances across your tongue. What a quaint dish. I suppose Ishmar isn't graced with the same rich ingredients that we have here in Monterey. Try a bite, Lady Agatha. It might surprise you. A few curious Monterians nobles do as Aaron suggests. Aaron? Wait. Listen. No, you know what? I'm moving on. Their faces immediately light up with surprise. The layers of flavor. The heat. I taste at least 6 different herbs. Well, you can't please everybody, but at least some of them are enjoying it. Isn't it wonderful to have a taste of home, even here in Monterey? Yes, my compliments to your chef. Clarke raises a spoon to you in the smallest of salutes as the court chats and gossips through the meal. That went over better than I expected. So, Prince Clarke, what do you think of our kingdom? You've visited it before, no? Only once, years and years ago. I look forward to having more time to appreciate its charms. Perhaps while you're here, you could explain why Ishmar is suddenly so interested in mending relations with our kingdoms. Lord Cecil's right, for your family to reach out after all this time. It looks a little desperate. I would say suspicious. I mean, Cecil is correct. Doesn't this guy ever get tired of carrying such a massive chip on his shoulder? Clarke manages to keep a neutral expression, but his shoulders tense, his jaw clenching with indignation as he tries to find a diplomatic reply. I think it's perfectly natural to want peace. After a 500-year-long feud, we should be grateful that Ishmar was willing to take the first step. I certainly am. Clarke shoots you a grateful look before nodding in reply. I assure you that all my kingdom's intentions are genuine. We could both benefit from a lasting peace. Just like we're all benefiting from sharing this delicious meal. May I pass you the salt, Lady Agatha? I was just about to ask for it. Our guests certainly aren't lacking in matters. Okay. Servants whisk everyone's plates away once more as dinner concludes. The guests begin returning to the dance floor, some dancing, others chatting over glasses of wine. I can't help but notice that you have not danced yet tonight, Lady Agatha. May I join you for one? Why, thank you, Your Majesty. You are the epitome of magnanimousness. Yep, try saying that word 3 times fast. But when you get up to leave, the mostly empty tables, a hand pulls you aside. Not so fast, Princess. What do you want, Lord Cecil? I want an explanation for the disgrace I've seen in this palace tonight. Serving Ishmari food in our halls, dancing with their hair. How much of this fawning welcome ball did you arrange? Or was this all Prince Clarke's idea? It was a team effort, Your Lordship. We planned the ball together, and I'm proud of what we accomplished. So you both want to see Monterey and Ishmari united? Is that it? As a team? You could be a part of that effort if you could see past this pointless feud. You might look at this night and see a success, but I see you welcoming our centuries-long enemy with open arms. I do not know what's fueled your sudden interest in politics, but you'd be wise to give it up. I'm the Princess of Monterey. I have every right to involve myself in our country's future. You are naive, girl, and nothing more. Starting today, I suggest you leave important business like tomorrow's Royal Council meeting to the real adults. You have no right to tell me what to... Before you can go, Prince Clarke suddenly appears at your side, holding out his hand. Ah, there you are, Princess Rose. Would you care for another dance? The princess and I will... Actually, I would love another dance. Good day, Lord Cecil. You take Clarke's hand and let him steal you away to the dance floor. As his arms encircle you, twirling you in the steps of the dance, he pitches his voice low so only you can hear him. I seem tense. I hope I didn't interrupt anything interesting. You did, but, thank you for the rescue. Rescue? I was just in dire need of a dancing partner who can keep up with me. Then your timing couldn't have been better. As you glance back at Cecil over Clarke's shoulder, though, you can't help sigh. I guess you were right in the end. Even after all my spreadsheets, diplomatic flowcharts, this ball still made someone angry. True, but I might not have been entirely right. Forget about perpetual angry cads like Lord Cecil, Chads too, and look at everyone else. You follow Clarke through the motions of the dance, catching snippets of conversation. That was the most positively best meal I've had in eons. Eons. And the first I've had with anyone from Ishmar. How invigorating. Ishmari delegates aren't complete fools. This is shaping up to be the most historic season of my reign thus far. I agree, Your Majesty. It was a pleasant surprise to see our guests fitting in so well. And one almost wonders if our kingdoms could come together after all. I can't believe it. All my planning really worked. As Clarke twirls you into the next step of the dance, you grin triumphantly at him. Everyone but Cecil seems to be having a wonderful time. So why does Cecil have such a hate? As much as I hate to say it, I think you've won our little bet. Well, then you know what that means. You have to admit that you can, in fact, be wrong because you don't know everything. Very well, a bet is a bet. Clarke suddenly steps away from you and grabs a drink and a fork from a nearby table. He taps the glass to get the room's attention. My lovely Monterarian hosts, I, Prince Clarke of Ishmar, have an announcement to make. As part of a sacred royal contract, I wish to announce that I do not, in fact, know everything. Shocking as that may seem. Not to me. Oh, that's all. You may return to partying. There are some mutters and chuckles as the guests return to their own business, and Clarke turns back to you. I can't believe you just did that. We made a bet, and I'm a man of my word. He twirls you back in a few steps of the dance, and you can't help laughing. There's never a dull moment with you, is there? Not if I can help it, but I think the dullest part of the ball, or any ball, is about to start. Lord Cecil suddenly taps a champagne glass at the front of the room. Esteemed Montarians and other guests, I would like to propose a toast in honor of our ruler, King Edmund. Please give a round of applause for His Majesty and allow me to share some of the highlights of his illustrious reign. Oh, God. Posturing. Some nobles continue dancing while others obediently applaud, turning towards Cecil. Half of the court's about to be stuck listening to a painfully boring speech, and the other half is too busy dancing to pay attention to anyone. So I propose that we take a temporary leave of absence. And make a temporary stay of, presence where? If anyone's or everyone's here in the ballroom, we'd have the whole palace to ourselves. I haven't seen much of it besides my quarters since our adventure in the garden, so perhaps you could give me a proper tour. I may not know the palace very well, but it'd be nice to get to know it, and Clarke better. Be Clarke's tour guide. Let's go. And lead on, Your Highness. Clarke follows you as you slip through the crowd and duck into one of the hallways outside of the ballroom. You were right. No one even noticed us leaving. After a lifetime of sneaking out of these sorts of things, you learn to spot a good time for an exit. You lead Clarke through the halls that are becoming more familiar every day, pointing out the rooms you recognize as you go. I suppose you've already seen the throne room and this parlor? And Aaron and I had tea in that delightful sitting room this morning. I have to hand it to your family. You've built quite a beautiful palace. You aren't going to tell me that you have a better one back home? Well, ours is more of a castle, and so different that it'd be like comparing apples to oranges. What was it like growing up in a place like this? I thought you wanted to play a palace tour, not a rundown of my personal history. You're part of a palace, too. Palace isn't just a cluster of buildings, it's home to the stories of people who have lived here. Well, as, one of those people, I'm like a living history? In a manner of speaking. So what was it like growing up here? I know how Rose felt about it, but if I'm careful, I could tell Clarke a little about my life and how I feel too. Growing up here was surprisingly normal. Everybody thinks that their child is ordinary, but growing up, I just felt like a kid who happened to live in a giant gilded house. So this enormous palace was just a regular old building to you? Yes, completely mundane. Wow, little Rose had terrible taste. Oh, please, like you were a refined, sophisticated 5-year-old. You got me there. I retract my judgment, no. You reach a marvelous staircase, and one of the ones you know, where a high-strung chandelier glints in the line. Here we have my favorite staircase in the palace. It's quite a distinction in a building with so many staircases. Yes, well, it's very bright and shiny. Such technical architectural terms. Don't question me, I study plenty of royal architecture as part of my history lessons. So you're a history buff? Born and raised. When I was little, my mom would help me read the oldest books I could find at the local library. I mean, the royal library. She sounds like a very good mother. She was very daunting. It must have been so hard for Rose to lose her mom. My parents raised me more strictly than it sounds like yours did, but my mother had also a soft spot for history. Thanks to her, it was one of the only royal lessons I never tried to skip. What about the rest of your family? My father is big on tradition in his own way, both like and very unlike your Lord Cecil. My sister was different, though. I always thought she was the best of us. Was? She passed away when I was a teenager. I must squeeze his hand. You reach out and gently squeeze his hand. He tenses slightly, surprised at the touch, but he doesn't pull away until you let go. You must miss her terribly. Every day. But I came here for a tour of your Lister's palace, not of Memory Lane. I'd love to see your stables if you're willing to show me the way. I tried to find them this morning with no luck. You could have asked someone for directions. And admit to being lost in your beautifully yet irritatingly identical halls. Never. Well, then you're lucky that I just found a shortcut there through the Western Portrait Gallery. As you lead Clarke through the gallery, he glances at the somber portraits on the walls. Ah, Monterey's illustrious monarchs. Your ancestors all look as uncomfortable as I feel doing royal portraits. Yeah, that's probably how I'd look if I had to pose for hours on end. Clarke thoughtfully squints at each portrait as if looking for signs of family resemblance. Which one was the first ruler that started your dynasty? Great question, but that shouldn't be too hard to guess. I just have to look for the most oldly, timey-wimey person here, right? The guy with the angry face, the cat holding... Okay, the guy with too much jewelry. Our first ruler was, you know what, I'm gonna go with the cat. A woman holding a cat? Of course, I recognize her now. Didn't she try to pass the crown on to her cat? I'm sure the cat would have been a wise and benevolent ruler. Spoken like her true descendant. The portrait gallery leads you to a side door and through the brisk night air to the stables, where dozens of horses are dozing or nibbling on hay. As Clarke passes each stall, the horses suddenly perk up. Why, hello, a pleasure to make your acquaintance. You're popular with the horses, I see. What can I say? The mares appreciate my charms. As Clarke reaches the last stall on one side, a mare inside of it trots eagerly over to the stall door and nuzzles his hand. There you go, girl. Glad to see you're treating you well. Princess Rose, meet my mare, Ishra. You brought your horse to Monterey? Of course. I don't go anywhere without her. I didn't know you were hiding such a sweet side. Trust me, if I was hiding a sweet side, Isra would have known about it by now. Oh, really? No, Isra, not that kind of sweet. I didn't bring you any sugar cubes. Have you had her for a long time? It's customary for royal children to get a foal on their 12th birthday. Isra was mine. Since then, she's been the only horse I ride. And do you go out riding often? As often as I can. Maybe sometimes I could show you a few tricks. I'd like that. She gently bumps your arm, Isra bumps your arm with her nose, and after an encouraging nod from Clarke, you pet her. Huh. It sounds like she would like that too. Thank you, Miss Isra. I hate to ruin our quality horse time, but shouldn't we head back soon? Somebody's bound to notice we're missing eventually. Probably Cecil. Where is she? Tell me where she is! Based on my pompous noble giving a speech calculations, I think we have time for one more stop. How about you show me your favorite spot in the castle? My favorite spot? I haven't been here long enough to have one, but if I could take Clarke anywhere I wanted... Somewhere Rose would like. My Rose's bedroom. Yeah, no. I just know the place. You lead Clarke to a courtyard until you reach... Here again. Our little adventure must have left quite an impression on you. I'm sure he would have had a real good answer for the bedroom. I have plenty of fond memories of this garden that don't feature you. But alright, that scone was pretty delicious. Mischief is the perfect spice for any meal. You look over at the garden, trying to imagine it from Rose's point of view. I get a good view of this spot from my bedroom. Sometimes I just want to climb out that window and sit here smelling the flowers. Dreaming of nighttime escapades to stop and smell the flowers. You're quite a romantic. And you aren't? That depends on how you ask. According to the Ishmari tabloids, I'm quite the heartbreaker. And according to the people who know you better, I try to have as few of those as possible. But as beautiful as the spot is, I think I hear the distant sounds of our ball winding down. We really should head back. Clarke nods, taking one last look at the place you've chosen to share with him. As you turn to go, he suddenly speaks up. Thank you, Rose, for the tour and this whole night. I know my visit makes things complicated for both of us. You didn't have to be this welcoming. But for some reason you have been. Maybe... I understand how hard this must be for you, too. Ah, so you're taking pity on me. Oh, don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. Fair enough. I don't think it's really called pity if you're just treating someone nice, knowing that they're going through something. Seriously. Thank you again, Princess Rose. Now, may I have the honor of escorting you back to the ballroom? You may, as long as you aren't too smug about it. You slip into the ballroom unnoticed and find the party winding down, unaffected by your absence. Cecil is still rambling on, but the guests are in good spirits. The stars truly align to make this night as for ages. The party was a delight, and our guests even more so. He doesn't say much, does he? Well said, Lord Gregor. I couldn't agree more. It seems like our party is finally winding down. We should probably retire for the evening. Right. I've seen plenty of you for one night. You catch him smiling at you for a moment, a smile that oddly is sincere, but then his expression shifts and he's the picture of royal politeness again. Thank you for the remarkable, decent welcome, Belle, Princess Rose. Clarke bows deeply as he straightens up. There's that moment where you're suddenly only a few inches apart. His eyes meet yours, and there's a hint of curiosity behind his smile. It would be so easy to lean in, but you know you're full of a room full of nobles. Clarke. Kiss him on the cheek. Heart pounding in your chest, you lean forward, pressing your body against Clarke's as you kiss his cheek. One of his hands instinctively cups your waist for just a moment, but all too soon you both pull back. There's a flash of surprise in his eyes, but his smile says that it's not a bad surprise. Careful, Princess Rose, you've gotten everyone staring at us. You glance over your shoulder and see half of the nobles in the ballroom staring at you. Some of their faces approving, some shocked. Maybe I just want them to stare. He laughs, a lighter laugh than you've ever heard from him before. He bows again and gives you that wry smile. Then it seems you got what you wanted. Good night, Princess. Sleep well. You wave goodbye to him as the nobles begin to trickle out of the ballroom doors, the party winding to a close. Thanks for helping me survive my first ball. I hope Rose is having just as good night with the Deltas. Let me guess, is that next chapter? No, it's daytime over here. Earlier that afternoon, as the Deltas get ready for their house party, in case you didn't notice it was daylight. I'm back, roomie. Thanks for helping Cephia and Astra clean the place up while I picked up snacks. I'm really glad you could stick around the house a little longer. So am I, but we might have a problem with tonight's party. Let me guess, that'll be the next chapter. Your big party has hit a speed bump, but it's before it's even started. Can you and Faye put your heads together to work this out? No, we'll never be able to do it. That's it. End of the book. I guess we'll be found out. I don't know. Just anyway. Lord Cecil, though. He reminds me of Bertrand. I'm serious. Without further ado, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down to the description below. Links to social media, Discord, if you'd like to support me and my content. Make sure to like the video. Yeah, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. That's it. That's all that's asked of you. I have one goal, one dream, one goal and dream that you can help me achieve. It's 100,000 subscribers. Kind of like a bucket list, Please make that dream possible for me. It's something that's also here for the community. It's something that finally, says, hey, after all these years and 3,600 videos, it's something that, I would love to share with you. I would love to unbox with you. I would really love to. And it's something that's kind of like a monument for our channel, right? Our community. It really says, we're in this together. It would be really great. So if you want to make that dream possible, please encourage people that you know, friends, family, even rando strangers on the internet to subscribe to this channel. There's plenty of content to go around. Thanks again for watching. I love your beautiful faces, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace out.